The Volkswagen Group is rapidly bringing out electric cars on the MEB platform. First there was the Volkswagen ID.4, then the ID.4, then the Skoda Enyaq, and now this Audi Q4 e-Tron. I literally picked this car up 1 hour ago. The weather is shitty, but I have 36 hours to find out if this car is worth the Audi tax or not. Hello there monsters and men, ladies and people. Again, this is the Audi Q4 e-Tron and welcome to Recharging. So this Q4 e-Tron is the smaller sibling of the Audi e-Tron. Audi really has to fix their naming conventions for their electric cars, because you have the e-Tron, then you have the e-Tron GT, now this is the Q4 e-Tron. It is all really confusing. Anyway, where the Audi e-Tron stands on its own platform, this Q4 e-Tron stands on the modulaire E-Antriebsbaukasten. That is probably terrible German, I'm sorry, but the good thing about that platform is that it can handle a whole range of electric cars. And therefore you can get this Q4 e-Tron in all kinds of configurations. I mean, you can get it with a 52 kilowatt hour battery pack or with a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. You can get it with one motor at the rear or four-wheel drive, ranging from 170 to 300 horsepower. This particular version though has a 77 kilowatt hour battery pack. It has one rear motor at the rear because, well, it is a rear motor. Anyway, it has 204 horsepower and 310 newton meters of torque. With that, it can do 0 to 100 in about 8.5 seconds, and the car is limited to 160 kilometers an hour. Okay, so it finally stopped raining and the sun is going to shine, so let's have a look at the design of this car, because in my opinion, the design of this car is a reason to pay the Audi tax. I think this car looks better than a ID.4 and a Enyaq. Don't get me wrong, I don't think the ID.4 is ugly. I do think the Enyaq is ugly, but not the ID.4. But where the ID.4 is more friendly looking, the Audi is more in your face, here I am, more aggressive, and I like that. What helps with the more aggressive in your face look is this big Audi grille here at the front. Some people find it unnecessary, but the grille is closed, so it doesn't influence aerodynamics, and again, it gives it a distinctive Audi look, and I like it. And being an Audi, what does Audi do best? The design of the lights, and also on this car, because if you take these headlights, which are a quite expensive option, I gotta be honest, but if you take these headlights, what you can do is change the signature of your daytime running lights. How cool is that? There are actually two versions of the Q4 e-Tron. There is the regular one that is standing over here, which gives you a more family SUV shape, and there is the sportback. If you go for the sportback, you lose a little bit of boot space, but you gain a bit of range, and that is because the car is shaped more aerodynamic. Personally, I like this one better, but hey, having choice is never a bad thing. And now you can see how the rear looks. Doesn't look bad, does it? And as with all Audis, you do have tail lights that go over the whole rear. Really fancy. What is also not bad is the size of the boot, because that one is 520 liters. Under the boot floor there is space to store your charge cables, and if you take the false floor option, you can even store the boot cover under the boot floor. If you fold down the rear seats, you will have a boot space of 1490 liters. So yeah, this is a big and practical car. What is disappointing though, and that is with all MEB platform cars, is there is no frunk. So what charging capabilities has the Audi Q4 e-Tron? Well, if you have the smaller battery pack, unlike Volkswagen and Skoda, where you have to pay extra to get the maximum charging speed, on the Audi it is standard. So that means with the smaller battery pack, it can take up 110 kilowatts on a DC fast charger. On AC though, it only has a two-phase onboard charger, so that means it can only take 7.2 kilowatts. I don't know why. The larger battery pack though has a standard DC charging speed of 125 kilowatts and has a three-phase onboard charger, so it can take 11 kilowatts. Both the smaller and the larger battery pack take from 10 to 80% on a fast charger around 35 minutes, and charging on AC they both take around 7 hours. Around 24 hours have passed now since I picked up the car. That means I can say more about the range and how it drives. Let's start with the range. The WLTP range of this particular version, so that means rear wheel drive and a 77 kWh battery pack, is around 500 kilometers. Yesterday the weather was pretty shitty. There was quite some wind, it was raining so the roads were wet, and it was around 12 degrees. But when cruising 100 to 110 kilometers per hour on the highway, I still got an average consumption of 19 kWh per 100 kilometers. And also when driving on mixed roads, and keep in mind I was testing the car a lot on those mixed roads, so that means a lot of accelerating, I got the same average consumption. Calculate those numbers and you get a range of 400 kilometers. Not bad at all. Actually, for this size of car, that is pretty good. In summer I do expect a range of 450 kilometers, maybe even a bit more, and in winter 350 kilometers, again pretty good. But a quick side note is that this car does have the heat pump, so if you do not have a heat pump, your consumption in winter will be worse. Then the driving, because this car is very Audi to drive. Makes sense though, because well, there is an Audi badge on the steering wheel, but what I mean by that is that this car is neutral. It isn't as sporty as a BMW, it isn't as comfortable as a Mercedes, but because of that neutrality, a lot of people like the way an Audi drives, and the same thing applies to Volkswagens. It doesn't get exciting in here, but it also doesn't offend anyone, and therefore this is a very good car to bring you in all comfort, and well, this is an Audi, so in all luxury, from A to B. What helps with that comfortness is the acceleration, because in a Tesla for example, but also the Volvo XC40, the accelerator pedal is really nervous. You have to press it a little and bam, there is the power. And because you don't hear anything, you don't hear an engine noise, but you get pressed in your seat, people get car sick more quickly. Not in this Audi though. You can floor the accelerator pedal and the electric motor gives its power very gradually, and that is actually very comfortable. And the car is still quick enough. I mean, it is an electric motor, so you have instant torque, so the car is quick enough, but the acceleration is very gradually, and that adds to the comfortness of this car. I have to talk about all the driving and safety features though, because of course all driving and safety features that are currently available are available on this Audi. But, there is a but. We do not have to forget that this is a Volkswagen Group product. So that means I am driving a 62,000 euro car, which is quite a lot of money, that has adaptive cruise control, but the adaptive cruise control does not actively keep me in lane. Blind spot monitoring? Sorry, you probably didn't order the correct package when you ordered the car. Please pay another 1,000 to 2,000 euros. I mean, I am driving a 62,000 euro car, a modern 62,000 euro car, and I expect these things to be present. I know this is how German car makers in general work. They have a huge option list, but personally I'm more a fan of the Asian car makers, which has a certain trim level and a few options on the side. To end on a positive note though, this car does have the augmented reality head-up display, and that is very awesome. It works really well. It is the best augmented reality head-up display that I've seen so far. Really cool feature, really nice. Alright, the interior. Let's start with the rear. The seat in front of me is in my typical driving position. I am 1 meter and 85 centimeters. I have loads of knee room. I can shove my feet under the seat in front of me. And also this car does have a panoramic sunroof, and I still have plenty of headroom. There is no hump in the floor here in the middle, because this car is designed as an electric car, and the car is wide enough for 3 people to sit in with all comfort. So in terms of space, no complaints. Build quality is also really good. Quality of the materials though, yeah, Audi, I'm a bit disappointed, because plastic, 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 damn. Besides that, this version also does not have a center armrest. Come on. But I do have 2 USB-C ports and a 12-volt socket here. It is nice to see that Audi does not go the Volkswagen and Skoda route. That means that this car still has physical buttons here for your climate control and your heated seats. Under that are physical buttons for your drive mode and also for your audio. And behind the steering wheel there is a full digital display instead of that tiny screen that is stuck here on your steering column. I mean, these things alone give this car a more premium look and feel. I mean, car makers, all we ask for are a few physical buttons, even if they are only shortcut buttons to navigate through the infotainment system easier. But anyway, the buttons here in the Audi feel very nice and very premium, and the same applies to the switches. Build quality, again, it is an Audi. Build quality is really solid. Quality of the materials, on top of the dash are soft touch materials, on top of the door here is soft touch. Your armrest in the door is soft touch, but above that is a bit of scratchy plastic. But for the most part, the quality here is very good. Cubby space, you do have quite a large glove box. Then there are reasonably sized door pockets, and there's even a separate cup holder here in your door pocket that also fits a small bottle. On your armrest there is a cubby, there are two cup holders here in the middle. And also under the center console there is a space where you can store stuff wherever you want. So cubby space, nothing to complain. You have good seats, there is good adjustability in your seat and in the steering wheel. So also finding a good driving position is no problemo. And then the last thing, what this Audi has, like all MEB platform cars, is that you get in, you press the brake pedal and the car is turned on. Very modern and I like it. Can I say something useful about the multimedia system? Well, it is a different system than is being used by Volkswagen and Skoda, and it is the same system that is used in all Audis. And as in all Audi reviews, for the most part it is user friendly, it is responsive, I have no major complaints really. A cool thing to notice is though that it does have support for Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, but it has wireless support. Yes, this is actually the first car where I used wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. Well, Android Auto because I have an Android phone, but that doesn't matter. And using it wirelessly is really cool and really nice. But you must have your phone plugged in a charger or on the wireless charging pad because it consumes a lot of energy. Are there any special electric driving features? Well, not really. The car does have a brake mode, and in brake mode the car always has maximum regen, but there is no one pedal drive mode. And when the car is in regular drive mode, I do have flippers behind the steering wheel, and with those flippers I can determine the amount of regeneration that the car should do. But when I turn the car off and then on again, that setting is lost. Even when I turn on the cruise control and then turn off the cruise control, that setting is lost. Can someone tell me why? Because I don't understand it and I find it annoying. What was the question again at the beginning? If this car is worth the Audi tax. Well, I find that question difficult to answer because the answer is mostly based on emotions. Some people don't care, and from a rational point of view, do you get more value from the Q4 e-Tron than from a ID.4 or an Enyaq? Not really, not really. But personally, I can understand why people would pay the Audi tax. I mean, you get the Audi badge, for some people that is important, but you get a better looking car, you get a nicer interior, you get a better ride quality, and you can choose useless options like these headlights where you can determine the daytime running light signature. Again, useless, expensive, but very awesome. So yeah, I understand both sides. I understand if you do, but I also understand if you don't. So that was the review of the Q4 e-Tron. You know the drill, please give a like and leave a comment, and it would be awesome if you subscribed. And then I would like to say now thank you a lot for watching, and as always, to be continued.